Yeah, now stand and cheer for your Talking Basketball Podcast.
Welcome to another edition of Talking Basketball Podcast. I am Mark.
I am Paul. Hello.
Paul, how you feeling? Are you feeling good?
A little under the weather, you can tell my voice, but yeah, I'm right.
Yeah.
What an intro that is.
Not to blow your own trumpet.
No, I meant the music. But that was.
Look how good I am. Let's just take a moment to soak in my glory. Are you comfortable here? Because there's almost some multitasking going on here.
I am now. Done.
He's good. He's happy now. He's happy. So
There we
back
go.
for another one. Back for another week.
Yeah. And can I just shout out something that I thought was great?
Oh, okay.
Who's doing all the TV for the BBL? Sorry, the SLB. I'm still catching up like the rest of the country.
So DAZN are the ones who are pushing it out there.
Yes. So I said to you, look, I haven't watched anything on that channel yet.
Yeah.
Now I have.
Uh-huh.
And what I would say is it's so much better than YouTube. Oh my God, no adverts. Thank you.
Yeah, that's better. That's definitely better for sure.
Well, like, massive tick. Second massive tick is the fact that you got the sound, you got the entertainment of the arena.
So I noticed that this week. I didn't notice it last time. I noticed it. That I don't know whether they've picked it up a little bit, but that's definitely.
Yeah.
It was in the first and second weeks. I think they're just tweaking as they go. They're just tweaking as they go.
Well, it was great. Like, for example, in Caledonia, that was I was like, oh wow, you can see it. Like, I mean, I think they only had like 4 dancers and there's only 2 in the middle, but it was like, okay, there you go. That's what you want.
I was going to say the Sheffield one.
Sheffield, again, Sheffield knocked it out of the park. It was like, oh, brilliant. Some of their choice of music is a bit old school, but what? You want me to turn this down?
Yeah, the background just tiny bit more.
Oh, that's not that one. That's this one, Mark.
Okay, whichever way you got it. There we go. That's a bit better.
To make you feel good.
I can hear you now.
Yeah, so...
Can't sleep otherwise.
Yes, the Sheffield was really good. Now, I'm like, you've got the fixtures for round 3 up there.
Yep.
So what I'm looking forward to now is seeing what Leicester's will be like and what Newcastle's will be like.
Yep.
In particular. But yeah.
So you like
really good.
DAZN. Because they did, what I liked is they did a little highlight, and it was on the socials somewhere, and they said they were getting the players to say, how do you pronounce, and it's DAZN, and a lot of people were like DAZN, and it's DAZN. That's what it's supposed to be like, as in the zone sort of thing. But they were like, people just kept guessing through, and I thought it was a great clip because you just think, it's obviously that's what it is, but it's not at all. Everyone butchered it. It was great. And
that's a few weeks back, wasn't it?
Yeah. But I just saw that and it just made me think of it because it's not an obvious one. Getting into it is a pain because you go to it and it logs in and then it makes you log in again.
Yeah,
it keeps doing that.
I didn't get that. So literally I don't know how you did it, but I literally had a web browser. So I was using Firefox.
Yep.
And
well, let's go with the powers of the world.
Is it?
And
can everyone see that as you're doing it? Then?
Everyone will be able to see it right now.
Okay, so I had one open. This open on a web browser, and then when it asked me to sign in, I did that on a different tab of that same web browser.
Yeah.
I mean, you're only putting your email in and like basic details. Put your password in.
But what it often does is when you log in and automatically at the beginning, it says, "Do you want to pay this or do that?" And
I didn't get any of that.
So
I didn't get any of that. But it prompted me to go somewhere, and I closed it and went back to my original browser, which I was on the SLB stuff.
Yeah.
Click, play, done. We're off.
And that's how. So every time you go to log into this now, it does the same thing where it will automatically send you somewhere. And what you have to do is you have to click log in. As soon as you click sign in, it automatically then takes you through. And then of course you go through, choose your basketball, and then we get to go look down.
And what are those basketballs on that graphic? NBL basketballs, Spalding ones.
Yeah, it confused me a little bit.
Wonder where that's from.
Well, I was assuming it was the Australia, because that's the NBL, wasn't it?
We got the logo from the pass. Is that up on there? Well, when I was in Adelaide, what's that pass? Let's have a look.
Yeah, it could be.
Go back to the ball again.
Let's go back to the ball.
Yeah.
There it is. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Mark, that media pass got some value to it. Right, let's crack on with the games then.
You go through and then you see all that, and as Paul rightly pointed out, we'll go into one of the games, but it won't show straight away, is that we'll minimise this. If you look down here, you'll see the highlights, which is something that you mentioned to me before. Are there highlights? And I think the first week they didn't do the highlights, and actually people were leading comments saying it'd be great if you did the smaller versions of it.
10-minute highlights. Yeah, but you can see on the video now it says SLB trophy / or
they can see all that
line
highlights. Right here, highlights.
But it says highlights. And
it
if it doesn't say highlights,
great job over the years recruiting the right pieces.
Full game.
And it's the full game, but it won't show you here on the screen because that's just not how they roll. So anyway, that's just something that I thought everyone would want to see. Like, it is a really good.
I do have one criticism.
Yep, let's have it.
On the highlights, just still do a little intro. Like when they were actually doing the game footage, you would have that the intro that we saw last year.
Yep.
The music, and that's the outro as well.
So
I really liked that. Do that for maybe even a shorter version for the highlights. Same thing with the Facebook
use the NBC
stuff.
song.
Well, you know what I mean. But same thing with the Facebook stuff
Yeah.
and the social stuff. They write best 10 plays this week, and I think that's great. But just do a little intro graphic and then do 10.
Well, the
9.
The logo's definitely grown on me. The SLB logo's grown on me. Not in a I thought it was bad before, but considering the short time they had to get it done, I think that looks good, and it's grown on me. When you see it, especially with a nice black background and so forth, it looks pretty good.
Yeah, they've taken the blueprint of what was there and just, I think, changed all the images. That's what it looked like.
Absolutely.
But,
I mean, it's everyone can see it. It's there on the screen, and it's just a nice. Apparently, it's for a sunrise. That's what it's supposed to depict, because it's the colours of a sunrise. It's a new dawn, new league, etc. That's the motive behind it, apparently. So there we go.
Right, well, let's crack on, Mark. I know you want to make this quite quick.
Succinct.
Your intro's 10 minutes.
Watch your mouth. Right, first game we had this week was Caledonia. There's only 4 games this week, and there was like a few more last week. It was 6, I think it was last week.
Do you know what one of my highlights for this was?
Caledonia and Newcastle Eagles.
Actually, this might be a theme throughout this week for me, was referees.
Oh, really?
And the ref... I've got an absolute blank.
You can guess my thing.
You can hear him saying, "Hey, tuck your shirt in." And I'm like, "What? They even do it in the SLB? Tuck your shirt in." It was like, power trip.
Yeah.
It was definitely that game. I wrote the note, ref, tucking shirt in.
I mean, that was a pretty even game, and I thought at first, the Gladiators going to take that, and then the Eagles just proved they were on a streak. They were 3-0 at that point. Went into the game, they just didn't have a chance today. Moves them to 4-0. Simple as that. The Gladiators were all right, but the bit I've put in my notes, you can see here, Mike Okaru's, he was unbelievable for Newcastle.
How do you say his surname? I've been calling him Akura.
Okaru.
Is that how they say it?
I thought it was.
Akora.
Oh, it could be Akora.
Like Laura, Cora, Okora.
Oh, Akora. Yeah, that's a good one.
I don't know.
Mike, big bad if I got it wrong. But
how clean was that court?
Looked good.
The Gladiator court.
Yeah.
Like someone had literally just mopped that with a bucket. It looked absolute pristine.
Yep.
Absolute pristine.
And Deshaun Allen-Akins,
there wasn't
great
really,
play with him.
What do they call it? The stickers on the court. What do they call that?
What the bits, as in the logos or the extra promotion stuff? You mean?
Yeah, that maybe that's why it looks so clean, because there was nothing.
No, it
but I
wasn't.
really liked it. Just stood out straight away. Really clean court.
Yeah. Again, I mean, we said it last week. I did find a little bit more information, apparently, because of the way that they're doing it, the way they're recording it. I think each team or in each venue have about 4 cameras. Because they have 4 cameras, if you can imagine, that's probably why they have that challenge with the lighting in capturing. So some of the images look pale, should we say? That's probably the best way to put it. And in the Gladiators court, it's quite a light court. So in that, it looked a little bit washed out on it when you're watching.
You mean a little bit, but I think it looks better than last season.
Wow.
And I'm not saying that to try to be nice to the SLB. I think it looks better this season.
Camera angles and the actual action and the play, the way they move it, 100% agree.
I reckon not much has changed.
I think just the coloration.
But it's almost like
saturated. Not saturated.
I don't know if someone is in charge and I've just said, look, just zoom in on that play. There's There's a great example in what game was it? I think it was Sheffield. Who busted his nose open first quarter?
Oh, that was one of my things.
Who was it?
Was
that?
I don't know, but I wondered if you. I was going to ask you how you felt about that. We'll get onto that on that one, but I forgot his name. But that stopped play for a little bit, didn't it?
I'm pretty confident it was the Sharks.
Yes.
Yeah, it was. It was the Sharks. EC Matthews, but they stayed on it. They went back. They watched the actual elbow.
It's the bit you want to see.
They went on the blood on the court. You saw him setting off the court. What just happened?
It's the bit you want to see.
It feels like someone's turned around to him and said, look, keep the camera on that emotion. I've got another great example with the Eagles, spoiler alert, losing to Cheshire right at the end of the game as well.
Mm-hmm.
They came off it quite quick, but look, I think the actual footage has just gone a little step up for me.
100% agree. The way they cover it, the way they do it, clearly the people who are involved, who've done all the local league and that sort of stuff before, they're the ones who they've got involved again. The camera crews, a lot of the players were the ones who did it a few seasons back. So they've had quite a lot of experience of doing it. And like you say, you can clearly tell because they're following the footage that actually is important.
Yeah.
It's the bit that people want to see at home.
I listen to our listeners, and some of the things they do say is, come on, if you can say something, you can say something bad as well. Yeah, okay, cool, I get it. One of the things I will say is sometimes the commentating comes across maybe a little nervous.
Yep.
Like in the Gladiator game, I heard the word pitch side a few times. I'm like, pitch side? What?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Court side. And
I thought there was going to be a bit of
I don't know if it was just maybe sounded a little nervous in some of these ones.
I had to turn some subtitles on for a couple of them.
Oh, what, for the Scottish one?
The Scottish one.
Don't you diss my Scottish brothers.
Listen,
I'm sisters up north, Mark.
I think it's Kieran Chara who's up there doing it, and look, they're great players. It just, there's a few plays I was like, not entirely sure what you said there, but I think I get the gist of it.
Oh, come here, we've been.
Exactly, pretty much.
Everyone knew what I just said there,
but
other than you.
I will flip that and then immediately say, if you're in Scotland, you've got to have someone Scottish calling it out. So, you know, for me, it makes it part of the game.
Yeah, but it's the quality. So
yeah, it's good.
I would say to those people, if they're listening or people who are attached to them are listening, is get them to watch other people do it. So when you're having the courtside interviews, hi, how are you today? It's like, come on, there's a usual spiel everyone goes to. Yep. Hey, Mark, you just scored 28 points and 14 rebounds. That must feel good at the end of the game.
No, terrible.
Taking this win.
More.
I don't know. That's off the top of my head. It's just like, Mark, when you got rejected by Paul, you must have, and landed
no,
and wet yourself on the court in front of all those spectators. That must have been a humiliating and embarrassing moment for you. How do you feel knowing that the highlight of your career has just happened, but it isn't really a highlight? It's a moment of embarrassing the rest of the world will see and laugh and point at you. How do you feel?
I'd say I went into that moment pre-wet.
But can you see what I mean?
Yeah, you got to get a little bit more razzle dazzle. But
I think my favourite one was I can't remember what game it was as well, but one of the guy, he went to say, like, it was his line, like, it was okay. It was something like, hey, what did you have for breakfast today? Because you played great. Can I have some of that, or whatever it was? And he said it, and the camera wasn't on for the interview ready. So you heard him saying like, what? And then you heard him again in front of the guy. So it was, but again, it's just tidying all that stuff up.
Yeah.
So and look, there are people out there, natural people, who will jump on this and do it.
Actual people, Paul.
We will do it.
Actual people.
I just said we will do it.
There's actual people.
Yeah, I think watch the NBA, watch all, like Euro basketball, watch, anywhere around the world, and you see this stuff that you can just copy. It's easy.
Yeah. So there's a great article by Lisa Knights, who is the CEO of Bristol Flyers. She's also doing a lot of the communications work for the SLB. In an article that I read, she made a good point actually about the fact that where everything was centrally sort of hosted last season, and obviously you had Azania and Dan Routledge, and they do a great job. They know what they're talking about. But one of the difficult things is that if you're not in the venue when the game is going off, it's very difficult to connect with the atmosphere and what is going on around you. And now every single team have got local people doing the announcing, local people doing and that is the atmosphere that you're talking about, and that is the difference that you hear on the mics. And it's like, hang on a minute, it feels like there's more people there. I will say it does look like there's slightly less people there at the beginning of this season. I think that's going to improve as it goes on. A lot of people,
I think people just went, it's done.
Yep,
it's done, and then
Well, to be honest, a lot of people also would have had season tickets.
Yeah.
And then when that whole thing went, they now have to, I won't say re-justify getting a season ticket, but now they've been given an option to, do I need to buy that again, or could I buy something else? So I think that's, I won't say the unfortunate scenario there, but they done really well. So that was Caledonia.
Very defensive, I thought.
4-0.
Very defensive. A very defensive game. Again, my note was Michael Okora, all-round play, 12 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists. Huge 3 at the start of the third quarter.
But the Eagles, though, to go in that 3-0 and then come out 4-0, and you think, is this like a team?
I loved his focus as well. At the end of the game, when he was being interviewed, he was asking about, you got Eurobasket, you got this, and he was like, look, forget all that. Yeah. We're just taking it game by game, and I really love that attitude.
Definitely. They got packed seasons, all these teams. They got packed seasons.
And I think the Americans at the moment are the main guys of the league at the moment. They're really putting on a display with Michael Okora, and look, we'll get onto it. But you got to talk about as well Josh Ward-Hibbert and Deshaun Allen Atkins as well. They had a great contribution.
13.7 rebounds for Deshaun. Be up man of the match.
Yeah. See, again, he did get man of the match. I personally thought Mike Okora, even though he had 12 points, he had 7 rebounds.
I think he was more
3
impactful.
Assists. I think he did it at the right moment. I mean, but you limit your opponent to 71 points. You expect to win a game.
Yeah.
So
that's.
But
and to do it away as well. That's, we won't take that away. You go on a road game. Both Newcastle and Caledonia obviously have their own dedicated arenas, and so you are travelling to someone's home pit, and they're going to make
Newcastle
sure you know
took the
about
fans.
it.
They took the fans though. You saw them on the camera, and it was like that. Look, they're showing up. I don't know how far Newcastle is from Caledonia. 2 hours, 3 hours, is it?
I don't know.
That's nothing. That's nothing.
Maybe Keith's still walking to the game. I don't know.
No one. When you say this, no one knows who you're talking about, other than a select few. Keith White, FIBA GB legend. Right.
So the next game.
Hang on, can I just say one thing? I'm shocked you've not brought it up.
What?
The fact that Caledonia were down by 4, and Malcolm Fraser. Fraser Malcolm went to the line for 3 free throws.
I was coming to it.
Why haven't you mentioned that, Mark? I thought you'd be all over that.
Yeah.
But that, to me, that summed the game up for me because he was 1 out of 3.
Yep.
And went down the other end. Josh Ward, Hibbert, he had free throws. Bam.
Yep.
Hit 2 free throws. Game's over. And I just thought it's a real scrappy game. It kind of just summed up the ending for me.
Yep. 100% did. And I was coming to the free throws. But yeah. It was at the end. Free throws are my theme this week.
Yeah.
I mean, they're my theme every week. But we'll go to there are only 4 games. So the next game we'll go to.
Theme.
It's my theme. You said referees was yours. And mine is definitely free throws.
Who's next?
Surrey versus Bristol Flyers. And Surrey were hosting. I like the Surrey court where you have the blue background. It's kind of like the same as this blue, actually, isn't it?
I'm looking forward to going there. Oh, this was the one where at the end of the game the interviewer was like, "Hey," said the joke, and then it went on, and he had to say it again. It was just that one.
No.
It was something about what you eating for breakfast and can I have some or something like that. But
yeah, the interviewer, but
they're all right. They're all right. It's just practice. That's all it is, and confidence.
Yeah, definitely.
Look, we can't talk. We've never done it. I would love to.
Yep.
Was that a big enough hint?
Is that a big enough hint?
Let me do it again. I would love to.
Someone go ill, and then let him do it.
Yes. I would. If Caledonia found out, Paul, can you come up? I go, yes, my Scottish brothers and sisters, I'm on my way. With my flag flying outside the train.
But have you checked if the tartan that Caledonia have would be accepted by your family's clan tartan?
You're ignoramus. Doesn't work like that.
No, I'm just saying.
Doesn't work like that.
I'm just saying.
I'll wear whatever they tell me. Right, let's go.
Please.
Surrey 89ers, Bristol Flyers.
89ers, British Flyers, and Surrey hosted them. I'm going to go first off into the kits. Green versus red. It's kind of unusual, isn't it? Unusual looking kits, don't you think?
I didn't even focus on it, if I'm honest with you. I was too busy focusing on Kenny Johnson.
Yeah.
Go on, Mark. Go on.
No, 18 points, 10 rebounds, 9 assists, 1 assist away from the triple-double.
That is a disgrace. You got to say it better than that.
Go on then.
With Kenny Johnson with 18 points, 10 rebounds, and 9 assists, Mark. He was 1 assist away from a triple-double.
I don't know how I had the heart attack and you didn't.
I lost my pen. I got so excited there.
Yeah, this is like your venting session, isn't it?
He's right, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, that's got to be fun. I mean, it's a great stat, but to have 1 away from a triple-double, you got to be like, just
again,
any of those
American.
Counted. Yep. Yeah. I mean, that was the last game I watched, believe it or not. I'm not going to lie. I don't think Surrey were in that game at all. There was a couple of moments that you think, oh, okay. And it gets towards the half. They were doing a few dishes and then Bristol just opened up that gap and they just didn't get into it. And I want to say it looks a bit scrappy, but I just don't think they had any chance of getting anywhere with Bristol. And I think Bristol towards the end were actually just letting off a bit.
Mark, I love the Surrey 89ers.
Yep.
And my note about the game, I don't care if they lose.
Yep.
Because they were about to go down as a franchise. Dan Clark came in.
Yep.
He saved the club. He's set them up. I mean, we know they've got a great fan base anyway.
Yep.
And it's just like, look, they're there.
Oh, I get it.
And so part of me is just like, guys, for me, sorry, you can do nothing wrong. Like, you're here.
Wow.
I don't know.
That
was my view. That was my view, just watching, just going, you know what? Like, I know it was like a 20-point deficit at one point, and it was just like...
Yeah. It ended 69-92. I mean...
like legends.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they will be, I won't say disappointed with that. I think that game exposed where their weaknesses were more than anything else. It wasn't a case of that they necessarily played badly. It just exposed where their weaknesses were. So,
sometimes people have a bad game.
But it could also be, I mean, we're so early, we're not even in the season yet. This is a trophy. This could also be one of the things where Bristol could be a bogey team for Surrey, and they could just be one of those teams where they just have a couple of the big men, and it was just a case of give them the ball, and Kelly Johnson just was it mismatched? I don't know what, but just they had free will.
Yeah, I mean, look, sorry, aren't bottom of the trophy standings.
No, they're not
at all. But
no, we're not. So let's go on to the game you just talked about.
Sorry, can I just say, Kelly Johnson? One of the things that I thought was really interesting, what he said, was the fact that he said, as a team, Bristol got together really, really late, but he said they're now starting to feel like they're gelling. And
which
it's
is
just
interesting,
taking a bit of time, and he goes, it's all starting to flow now.
So last season, they got out the gates. They were flying last season. And then they had a few injuries and then a few things happened, and then they just plummeted. But at the beginning of last season, it was the opposite. They shot out the box. So this is really interesting. It's a different approach to what happened last season.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
just thought it was really interesting. He said, look, we got off the plane. His words were, I think, one way I remember him saying, I think we got off the plane late.
Yeah.
And we were trying to work out where we all are with each other, but now we're starting to gel as a team, and you're starting to see it on the court.
Yeah.
Just thought it was really interesting. But I think the other take is, Coach Andreas, what is he going to do for the Bristol franchise now? And it would be great to see Bristol achieve something purely because of that coach. Again, he came to Bristol early 2000s. He took them from NBL Div 4 when it was around.
Oh, yeah.
To NBL Div 1. And then what is it, 2014, he made the jump into the BBL.
Yep.
And he's still with that franchise. I mean, this guy is the Alex Ferguson of Bristol, isn't he?
He's just got a pay cut himself.
And you know what? It'd be great to see them get, a bit of silverware ready, hopefully, for that new arena coming their way.
Yeah, I mean, they're having a lot of troubles with that at the moment, aren't they? So with a whole sports quarter that they're going to be putting in, anyone who hasn't looked at that for the Bristol, go and check out what they're trying to build.
I think that's a podcast, show.
Yeah, right, it looks immense. I know that people have talked about it, but they've had issues and challenges. But it's going to be called like a sports quarter. They've done some stuff for the rugby teams and football and everything. And it's just like build this stadium. It's going to have residential, hotel, all that sort of stuff. And 3,650 odd seater stadium. Yeah, that'd be amazing. Just like for the arena, for the local sport, for everything.
Like I said, Mark, look, we're going around these places.
Yeah.
When that comes, we're going. We're going to be there front row. Our listeners, come and say hello, and we'll go and have a beer after the game.
Not the sports halls.
We'll say on the podcast when we're going around.
Damn right. Right, let's get into it. Sheffield and the Gladiators. So the Gladiators had already had a little slap around from Newcastle.
No, look, they didn't get slapped around, Mark. They fought a tough defensive game that they could have won, but the Eagles held on to that tough away win. That's what happened. Wow.
And then they go to Sheffield. So they've been at home. Now they're playing away. Go to Sheffield. If this matchup was last season, you'd be like, there's not even a point to watch it. Sheffield will get destroyed by the Gladiators last season. Last season, Gladiators were outrageously on form. Different teams, different year, different ball. I mean, the Sharks took it to them, didn't they? How did you feel when you mentioned it? What did you think when you saw that nose injury? As soon as I watched that, I was like, I wonder what you're going to think.
First things first, I want to make a point because you're coming a bit negative on Caledonia, Mark.
I'm not.
It took overtime for them to be defeated. It took a horrific effort in overtime for them to be defeated. All right? Oh. So the game went in there. So you got to hand it to them because when the game ended, it was 71-71.
It was.
I remember.
It was.
So
we'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
We'll get to that. Don't you worry.
So your EC Matthews gets elbowed in the nose.
What did you think?
The most irritating thing, personally, for me, was the referee's position.
Why?
Right, it's right in front of the goddamn play. And it wasn't even a body in the way. It was like, oh, come on. And it was like, look, that could have been... There's only one person who knows the answer to this. That could have been accidental contact. It could have been deliberate. But it was definitely an elbow that hit Matthews in the face. Yeah?
That's why I'm asking.
And he goes down quite quick.
When
and
you saw that,
the
elbow.
referee is... I mean, what is he? The referee's 10 foot away, right in front of him. There's like daylight. Go back and watch it and you'll see what I mean. There's daylight there. And I want to say a huge shout out to Sheffield Shark Nixon, because he was calling the refs out on this.
All right.
And you see, he turned around, and you see it in games where players just hold their arm up.
Yeah.
Yeah, hold their arm up. And he's looking back at the ref who, because there was 3 referees. They're playing 3-man. Refs, there's 3-man, yeah?
Yep.
So there's one at the top of the 3-point line, one on the other side of the court, but around the free throw line, and one on the baseline. And I think it's the one on the baseline that Nixon's turning around to and going, there's blood all over the court. You could see he's trying to say something like that.
Yep.
And the referees are standing there just watching the game, like just refereeing it. And again, the same referee that didn't call the elbow to the nose, he's standing there watching the play. Yeah. 3 goes in. Now I'll look at you. It's like
you think they swallowed their whistles?
Well, you got 3 goddamn referees. The one at the top at the 3-point line, you can turn around really briefly and go, yeah, that guy's bleeding all over the court. Better stop the play. But he's like, no, I can't miss a thing. I'm not, look. What I will say in defense of the referees.
So apparently I was negative of Caledonia.
What I will say in defense of the referees, no one has their view.
Well, they're clean shoes.
We have this luxury of being able to watch it over and over and over again. And I did this one. We can watch it over and over again.
Yeah.
And they get a split second, and they're in one. They have one view. We get nice angles. However, as a player on the court, you must be aware of it. You must be looking even in the corner of your eye. But this guy's head movement's like this. It's over there. It's just like you got a whistle in your mouth. The other 2 refs can deal with it. Especially at one point, it goes the other side of the court, and I'm like, that's the time when you want to go. No, he's still staring. Like, with refs, it's almost like they're like, no, computer boy, I cannot move. It's almost like, I think every referee has never played a game of basketball in their life. They're just watching the game. Maybe. That's how they come across sometimes. Do you know when people don't play the sport and then they ref it? And it's like, hang on, that guy's just... Why have you called that? Oh, because the book tells me to call that. It's like, well, you've not played the sport. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
It does.
When people go down easily, why have you just gone there? You're like, clearly he's falling over, but because you've never played a sport in your life, you don't know what it's like.
It's a non-contact sport, so theoretically it's non-contact.
It is a contact sport.
I think it's non-contact.
No, I think basketball is officially a contact sport nowadays.
I thought it was.
That's my understanding of it. Anyway, look, I know I just ranted, but that was the...
Did you?
That were the things I extrapolated out of that.
You hit that well.
I want to say a huge shout out to Sheffield Shark Nixon, because he was calling it like, we got an injured player. This is 5v4. He was like, look, we got an injured guy. And the guy's not moving. And again, I think
drink over
there. The rule is that a ref, they can't give you an advantage. Yeah? I feel like I'm talking to myself because you've walked off. So a ref, if they
appreciate the fact,
if he stopped the play, and the guy just gets up and comes back, the referees stopped the play and allowed an advantage because he's allowed a defender to come back in. Yeah.
Yes.
So that's why they don't want to do it.
Okay. Yep.
But when you got a head injury,
no, you always stop for a head injury. Sure.
And Nixon's going, there's blood on the court. There's blood on the court. Come on. And you can see the arm coming up. And then once the refs call it, he turns around to one of the refs and I don't know what he's saying, but it's clearly something like, why don't you stop the game a lot sooner than that? Probably in a lovely, well-toned voice. So yeah, I mean, look, I think what people don't realise, I feel like I'm going on a massive rant here. You get injured in basketball and these injuries are significant. Like, this guy gets busted in the nose. Did you see how much blood was on the court?
Yeah.
The blood went from like the halfway line, trailed all the way off to the home bench. And you could see he was a little shaken up about it.
If you're the ball boy, it's like, man, you got to clear that up. It's like, I am not clearing that up.
I'll tell you what, the one person who must have loved that was the health and safety officer.
Oh yes. Oh,
She would have gone
straight in the incident.
Sorry, I made an assumption it was a she. There were lots of women on the court. That's why I said she. But
yeah,
they would have gone,
bold.
Yeah, brilliant. Get me that powder, whatever that powder is they're putting on the court.
Oh, yeah.
And then the old spray after the powder.
I love that.
I love the health and safety officer with a dark grey jeans. Gorgeous.
Wow.
I don't know if that was it, but yeah.
Good Lord.
Shout out Sheffield.
Yeah. I mean, look, they did all right to come back and play as they did. You've
tight grey jeans.
Oh, good Lord. I mean, what? Really?
Hey, I'm speaking on behalf of the SLB fans, Mark.
Yeah, okay. At least everyone's going to go back and watch the game now. They'll be like, okay.
Watch that incident, yeah.
So, you mentioned it. We're going to go straight to that. Hodzik. He had the free throws at the very end of that game. When it was 70-71. Caledonia were down by 1 point. They were down by 1 point. There was 21 seconds left on the clock. Got fouled, had 2 free throws. Brick. And you saw the Caledonia coach be like...
Gareth Murray.
Yeah. He was...
Gareth?
Yeah, he literally, you looked at him and like, oh, he was not happy with that. Bricked that first one. Got the second one, fine. And then they held off to go into the overtime. Then in overtime, Sheffield put their foot down and they did. They definitely did because they held Gallagher to only 4 more points in that overtime. So fair play to them for that. They took their opportunity. But it should never have got to that. If you're at the very end of the game,
he's going to be frustrated. But look, you got to... Sorry, God, I interrupted.
No, that was it. It was like literally, he missed that free throw. When there's 21 seconds left, it caused it to go over. Now, there is a debate. It'd say, well, if he'd have got both of them, they'd have been 1 point up, but then the others would have had a full whole 21-second possession. What could they have done with that? I don't know.
They didn't know.
No, you can't choke.
Free throws win games,
man. I honestly, and after the first game that you saw, I thought this is ridiculous, isn't it? This is like the Gladiators have got the same thing happening again as it did before. It's like, yeah, come on, free throws. That's twice now.
Yeah. I mean,
you can't hide from it.
No.
You can't hide from it. That is the time.
In Caledonia's defence,
no,
I will say, I think they got a lot of injuries at the moment, and they are definitely playing a lot of games. And I think what Coach Murray is getting out of those players is pretty good. Like,
oh yeah, I'm not questioning he's not doing well at that, but
against in very quick concession 2 of the best teams in the league, and you've lost by 5 to one of them.
Yes,
but arguably that could have been closer for those free throws, and then you've lost to in overtime.
Yeah,
to another one of the best teams in the league.
Yeah, but
I feel for them a bit. Also, that incident, it was really that incident after E.C. Matthews hurt his nose.
Yeah.
Jamal Nelson and Jacob Groves, their aggression stepped up a notch.
Oh, 100%.
And
do you think that would have, if that incident hadn't occurred, then they wouldn't have been as feisty given that?
Sorry, say that again.
Do you think if that incident hadn't occurred, that was the main thing that changed the?
It can do. Well, like their aggression stepped up, and it was one of those momentum moments. I thought.
Definitely.
There was definitely a change in shift after that. But look, Mark, we haven't mentioned his name. I've briefly mentioned it. You got to talk about. I reckon I'm going to say potential. He's going to be up there for the season.
Really?
Is rookie MVP for that game easily. Jacob Groves, another American.
Yeah.
23 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 assists, Mark!
Can't go wrong with that, can you? For a rookie, you're not going to argue with those sort of stats, are you? To be fair.
Yeah, well, look, he's playing extremely well. Extremely well. And also, Rodney Chapman, he got 17 points. He's starting to find his feet. He's only just joined the team.
Yeah.
Which makes me... I'm looking at Sheffield going...
Yeah, they're strong.
Are they going for it this year? They're going to be up there for sure.
Do you know what? They're playing...
Yeah.
They're playing like... they were playing like a team. That's what I quite liked about it. They were playing like a team. They weren't just hero balling it.
Yeah. Well, their overtime effort, 13-4, was the difference between the game. And again, that's why I feel for Caledonia, because it was a tied game at the end of
and then missing players,
regular play, and just what happened in overtime lost them the game. My favourite moment so far in the SLB was in this game.
Really?
Yeah. This was late in overtime, and I'm going to say, my note I wrote down was, this is the most British moment so far that I've ever seen in UK basketball. I was just like, all I could think was, this is so British. So what I'm talking about is, if go to this game, Sheffield Sharks versus Caledonia, this is with about... 40 seconds, 50 seconds, maybe a minute left in the game.
Okay.
That's going to roughly get you near where you need to get to. And Drake Jeffries.
Drake.
What did I say?
No.
Drake.
I'm saying like Drake as in the rapper Drake.
Drake.
Comes flying in.
Drake Jeffries. That's a hard name to say, isn't it? Drake Jeffrey. You can't say that quick. Drake Jeffries. He gets a pass... right-hand side of the court. He's driving into for a pretty much. You think it's going to be a layup, but in for Caledonia comes Trevon Barnes late in overtime and says, "Boom!"
Yeah,
not today, but he clearly fouls him, and it's a hard foul. And I was like, "Nice, awesome, brilliant." That's kind of what you want to see. Brilliant. But then Barnes kind of strolls over to him. Sorry, man. Or something like that. Clearly apologizes. Drake Jeffries, he gets up and was like, yeah, don't worry about it. It's fine like that. That's how it comes across. And whilst this is all going on, in between that, the commentator's like, and Drake Jeffries falls on his backside. And he says it with an English accent. I was just like... this is the most British moment ever. The referee says, the commentator says he falls on his backside, while someone then apologizes for fouling, when the other guy then stands up and says, oh, don't worry about it. Let's carry on playing. It felt really British to me, but, that's what's great about it. We are British. Interestingly as well, Sheffield shot 37% shooting in that game.
It's not ideal, is it?
And Caledonia were 59% shooting for field goals.
Oh, I like the stats actually that they're putting up.
Yeah.
The way they're putting the stats up, they're a little bit clearer than previously. I don't know what it is. There's something in the graphic. Maybe it's the colouring. Just it's clearer to read. So yeah,
yes,
kudos.
no, I agree, and I like that, and I like the fact that it's
that.
Consistent at the end of every game, which is really good.
You know where you're looking when you want to see it, because that's, I mean, it sounds silly, but they're real basic stats. Are the stats that people like fans want to see are not always the stats that if you're a coach or you're a statistician necessarily you want to see, because you want to see.
I love the stats, Mark. I love the stats.
Yeah, but people would want to see the 2 points rather than free throws and those sort of things. And
yeah, they do break them all down. I think, like, I've got it here. They got field goals, 2 points, 3 points, free throws, rebounds, assists, steals. Great. The only thing,
it's points off of steals and points off of misses and stuff.
I mean,
Those
they could go further and go into player breakdowns and stuff like that. But I think that's when you're getting
that's all on the FIBA stuff, anyways. But that stuff is absolutely gold.
But interestingly, they were 37% from field goals, but they shot 70.
Oh,
they shot 70 field goals. Caledonia was 59% and only shot 59. Some great stats. Anyway, Mark, there we go. Sorry, is that everything? I've just been talking, so I don't know where we actually got to.
Well, we've got
Sharks won. Overtime.
Sharks won overtime. Phoenix versus
the Cheshire of Shire.
Now, look, we've got to talk about it straight away. That kit is horrendous. Cheshire kit is absolutely horrendous. It does. I
thought you were going to say about we got to talk about it. I was talking about that weird foul at the end, but gone.
Yeah, that was pretty odd. But that was
it's all right. The
Atwood, wasn't it?
It's all
free
right.
throws.
But you got to talk about again Cheshire's ability to bring in players in the off season.
Yeah,
they lost a couple of players, and let's face it,
big players.
They lost two of the best players in the league.
Yeah,
and they're still competing and beating the best teams in the league, as this fixture saw. So it's really interesting, and you got to give credit to those guys who are bringing these players in, because
however they're finding them, they're doing a great job. They're definitely
maybe the coach as well. Maybe the coach as well.
Because I mean, look, I said it last week. Skylar White physically is looking great. He's really, I don't know what it is.
He's looking great.
He is. Like genuinely, I think in the off season he's done definitely some physical work. It looks like he's not just leaned out, but he still has that agility. I mean, there's a great block. I mean, I even put the time down and remember it. Q3, 3 minutes 18, I think, left on the clock. Goes in for it, and it's like no chance. Get that block straight out of it.
He's consistent.
There were some massive shots,
consistent.
Some absolutely huge shots that were thrown in. That at one point the Eagles were up. I won't ruin it if people are going to watch the game, but
they're not going to watch it if they listen to this, Mark. Just ruin it.
Well,
ruin it for them.
They were just, when you see a team and you think, the Eagles have got this, and they had a cushion, and it'd be like an 8-point cushion.
19? Was it 19? They're up by 20?
Yeah,
maybe? I can't remember.
And they had this cushion. And then there was two shots. The first one, I think, was, I want to say it was Cam. It wasn't Cam Kristen. Who was it? Oh, it was TJ Atwood. And then follow it from him, it was Skylar White. It was like 1 3-pointer, bang. Another 3-pointer, bang. And you go, oh, bang, they're suddenly back into it. And they just came out of nowhere. Oh, it was Atwood with a huge 3, and then White with a huge, right towards the end. And suddenly you go, there's a 6-point swing. Now they're only two, and now they're level. Oh, hang on a minute. Now they've gone ahead, and you think,
the two
that
Camerons
swing was just.
The two Camerons are working really well together. TJ Atwood obviously as well, but those two guys just. Well, I guess the trio of those three were I thought the difference between Phoenix and the Eagles in this game.
And Micah Corey, you've got to mention him for the Eagles. He was solid in the last few games, and. They sort of just, the two Cams, TJ, they just sort of outgunned him. They kind of kept him out of where he wanted to be. But
Dejan as well, he played well. And look, they were winning the game until the fourth quarter.
I'm going to say it now.
Say it.
Atwood, foul at the end. Exactly what you were talking about. He got the free throws. Made sure they went in.
Yeah, there you go.
And you go, you're up. It was 98, 88, 82. Got the free throws. I'm putting them in. Didn't need to. I'm putting them in. And they were like, give me the ball. Give me the ball. Done.
Yeah.
That's how you need to do it in that crunch time, especially when you think, we've seen a couple of games where you think, the free throws, people have bricked them and choked and all sorts. That's how you do it. So the Phoenix doing that killed the Eagles' momentum. They were 4-zip. Going into that game.
And I think that frustration showed a little bit in the dire moments of the game.
Yes.
So I actually wrote this down, which was DeJohn Allen Akins and Jordan Spencer.
Yeah.
So right at the end of the game, it was, So DeJohn was inbounding the ball.
Yes.
Jordan Spencer kind of just went to the left of the court. So DeJohn's right. And it looked like he was in a position to get it. But DeJohn passed somewhere to the left. Skylar White stole it, missed a layup. And someone else at Phoenix got the ball and put it up to get another 2 points. So when you look at that score line, it's like, well, they were probably gifted that too with that turnover at the end.
Yeah.
But what was really interesting was Jordan Spencer's reaction to that. So I don't know if you picked up on this. Hey, I saw it. I love this. And this is what the commentators should grab hold of and just go, wow, there's emotion there. So Jordan Spencer and DeJohn kind of square up to each other.
Oh, yeah. At the very end. Yes.
Off the court. No, I don't think there's any malice there or any. That's just players frustrated in the heat of the moment.
I remember that because I rewound it. And what I liked was that the camera was there. There was things.
It went off quite quick, but
people were walking in front and stuff like that. And the camera was still there. And then when it came back, it dissipated. Yeah. But the cameraman was
one of them was still looking. But it was interesting that a couple.
Kudos to you, whoever that cameraman well, I think they're all cameramen now. Man or lady doesn't matter. But it's whoever that was, they know. Follow that action. The action doesn't necessarily mean it's on the ball.
I'd like to have it stayed on it a little bit longer, personally.
I think
obviously whoever's in charge of the booth, they're shaking hands. Let's do that. It's recognizing. Here's a moment here. There's a moment here. And some of the older guys in the team, you could see, kind of stepped in and went, "Come on, chill out,
no need for
chill
that.
out." But like I said, I don't think there's anything malice there. It just highlights how important that game was for them to win. Hang on a second.
So. Here's a question then.
Sorry, I had to cough there, but it was important for them to win. And then you saw that frustration when they had lost.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, man, you wouldn't pass me the ball. Why didn't you pass me the ball? Or whatever that was. But that is what is great about basketball.
So looking at that now, if you've got all of those teams playing, what are your thoughts at them? Because a lot of people have been confused. We've talked about it before. We'll go through it again at some point about there's a trophy, there's a championship, there's a cup, and then obviously you have the playoffs at the end. This is all the trophy at the moment. This is not part of the league. The league hasn't started yet. League starts in November. This is all the trophy at the moment. But I kind of like it because it's given everyone a taster for these are all the teams this is everything that's going on. Some
of the rivalries are starting as well. Some of the players to look out for.
We have to remember a lot of these teams, we've gone back to zero. There's teams that have been gutted. We've lost a lot of players in the league who rightly didn't know where they were going to play and they want to play professional basketball, and they're good players. So they got snapped up elsewhere. So,
these are important games. These are important games as well, because what is great about the SLB trophy, I'm going to say it, they are leading the way in how a cup competition should be run.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe even how a league competition should be run if you take this in the same breath. So if you've got two teams tied, it is whoever goes above the other one is decided on how they performed against each other. Point-wise and stuff like
definitely.
And they should be doing that across the country in all the different leagues and competitions, because when you have a league or a competition that is decided on how badly you beat or lose, whatever you want to call it, the team at the bottom, that says to me that's a poor competition. And that's what I really love about what the SLB have done with the trophy. they're making these games against the top teams matter because it will be the difference between qualification and not qualifying in that competition.
Yep. Yeah, it makes a huge difference, and I think it's and look how close
this is.
Yeah,
look how close it is, and that's
this is my only gripe. This is my only gripe at the moment.
So Cheshire lose this.
It's top 2 teams. Each.
Cheshire win a game.
Yep.
That the top of the table will get decided between Newcastle and Cheshire taking on each other.
Yeah.
That's why those two teams playing each other is so important. That's why that turnover at the end of that game is so important.
So I'll try and share that with everyone so they can kind of see. So this is my only gripe at the moment. If you go on the website at the moment, you cannot see, I've just chopped that together, you cannot see a table where it shows you what was going on. And they did have something up there, then
Say that again.
It changed. On the website at one point they had a table where you could see these are the standings.
It is on there. I saw it today. It's on there.
Yeah, but I think that whether they update it and it comes off or anything, I don't know. So the problem that you go is when you go in to look at the trophy, it keeps going to the next week, and you have to click either all or the league that you want to see.
Yeah.
And then you only are separated by north and south. So that bit needs to be just tidied a little bit. Because what you want to see really on here, like you can see on this, I mean, we're looking at it, I'll put it up for this, everyone can see. If you can see here at the moment, you've got Newcastle and Cheshire who are at the top at the moment, mainly because of the points differences. If we're looking at really on these sort of point difference here, isn't it? That's what's really separating.
Don't forget, people are listening to this who can't see that.
No, I understand it. So Newcastle and Cheshire, they're the top 2 teams at the moment. In the north, in the south, the trophy, it's Leicester and Bristol who are the top 2 teams, both with 4 points and both on 3 games played, both won twice. So
round 4 is huge.
Huge.
But can you see what I mean?
Oh,
that's
yeah,
why point
100%.
difference is so important.
Yeah. Oh, it's
now,
going to play a huge thing.
If Cheshire say lose and Sheffield go above them by 1 point.
Yeah.
I know that's a bad example because Newcastle would then have to be in that position.
Exactly.
But you see what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, 100%. It's a really good opportunity for everything going on.
Sharks Gladiators, that overtime loss.
Yeah.
Those free throws missed or whatever.
Yeah.
Those free throws may be the difference between getting into the qualifying and not qualifying.
Yeah.
That's a better example.
And that's if you look at that game, you think just it's one isolated game, but because if you think it's a trophy, it is a cup kind of competition essentially. It's a just different form of cup competition. So, but obviously the cup, they've done something differently, and they've got people from the NBL coming in, haven't they? So
yeah,
that's again,
that's going
to be.
Did that last week, Mark?
I know, but what I'm saying is, it's the trophy is its own cup, effectively, isn't it? It's its own thing.
It's I'd say a Premier League cup is how I'd.
Yeah.
So you got to earn your spot in the cup, bit like the in-season tournament, a bit like that, I guess.
Yeah,
but then the actual cup is the romantic cup, is how I'm going to call it now.
Yeah.
Is the romantic cup because you've got teams like Falkirk Fury who can come in and win it.
And also, shout out to Falkirk Fury and the other teams there. If you want to reach out to us, we'd love to get any of you on to talk about what you're thinking going into these games, because it's going to be quite exciting.
Yeah.
Just to see some Div 1s going up there.
There we go. We're done.
We have done with the SLB for this week.
Yeah, you wanted to make it a half an hour episode. We're an hour in.
Yeah, most of that's you moaning about refs and...
She was talking about the game started and there was a
yeah, we'll see.
A wash.
We'll go back and we'll see.
Of sound that went round the arena. It's because you're talking like that.
Yeah, okay. So, NBA news obviously hasn't started yet. The NBA is kicking off next week.
He's actually annoyed. Oh dear, come on, let's
NBA's kicking off next week.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's like the 22nd. So, 15th, you're going away next week. And the NBA kicks off. So we've had some preseason games. the biggest thing I think, which is hilarious, is Joel Embiid hasn't played one preseason game, and they've ruled him out for starting at the moment because he's got a knee problem. And what's brilliant is that they just signed him on that massive Supermax contract. It was like 192 million or something for 3 years.
How did he do in the playoffs last season?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And it's like, why have you signed him? And now he's not playing. And then what was funny is then Paul George I think he hyperextended his knee.
Yeah, didn't look nice.
No, and he was like, no, it's fine, it'll be okay. But you go, hang on a minute, there's 2 people out with knee injuries, and the only other person they've got kicking around is flipping Ben Simmons. And you go, uh-oh, that's never good. So I'm not sure what they're going to do with that. But yeah, the other one that I've loved in the NBA this week.
Can I just say, just for our listeners,
yeah,
we do have this big TV to our right hand side now.
Well, it's the big it's the big telly.
Oh, can they see what we're looking at?
Well, they can see what we're looking at right here. Well, if they want to, these are our notes that we put up and stuff.
Yeah.
And
so that's why we're looking in this direction, because we've got a TV, so we know kind of where we're going with the show. Yeah.
Well, it always helps, doesn't it?
Yeah, I thought I'd just say that. Anyway, yeah, go on.
But did you see DiVincenzo talking from when obviously he got traded from the Knicks? He got traded from the Knicks to the Timberwolves. And then they met in a preseason game. And he was talking so much rubbish to the coach. And the best bit was, I think he shouted something like, this is what happens when you let him make decisions, like talking about the coach. And then they got a little bit chirpy towards the end. They were all like, yeah, because he's salty. He's not happy by the fact that he's been traded. So he's there saying, yeah, this coach, this is what happens and you trade up. This is what you get, because the Timberwolves killed him. It's just really funny.
Wow.
So that's what you get if you make. That's what you get for trades. That's what you get for making decisions. So, wow. And he doesn't like Thibs. And Thibs, who's the New York Knicks coach, is not. It's not everyone's favorite. I think a lot of people find him a challenging coach. So that's quite amusing that he's like openly shouting that and just doing it like he's there on the bench and he's standing there with the ball mid-game shouting at him and stuff.
Best way to make your point on the court.
Damn right, yeah.
In the words of the great man Isaiah Thomas, the numbers never lie.
No. I mean, look, speaking of the great men, the main thing this week was the hoop hall, wasn't it?
What a little transition I did for you there, Mark.
That was nice, wasn't it? It's almost like we thought about it.
we didn't.
No, we didn't at all. But I had to look up the class of 2024 because they're for those who don't know, the Naismith, the Hoop Hall of Fame, I guess you'd call it. This year's enshrinement, one of my favourite players of all time, Vince Carter. Just, yeah, absolutely, rightfully, not only going into the Hall of Fame, but also got announced by the Raptors. They're going to put his jersey into the rafters.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and they said they can. And
how many years did he play for them? Was it like...
It wasn't low. It wasn't as many as people think it was. No, it's like 4 or 5, maybe a bit more.
Do you know what I love about...
But then New Jersey have done the same thing. They said that they're going to do... And
he played in New Jersey for a while, though, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Well, I saw him in New Jersey when he did the dunk over Alonzo. That was like, I saw that. So it was like, that was a cool... you remember that one? You remember the whole dunk he did? It was like absolutely savage. You
got to say, arguably, one of the greatest dunkers of all time.
Oh, without even a shadow of doubt, is this dunk right here. Kicks it out to him on the side, and then they go, oh yeah, and it stopped like he was in air.
Are you sure you weren't looking at your phone when that happened?
I promise you that moment there, when he goes up and he goes like that, we were sat all on the other end of the court, and I had my Vince Carter top on, and we were sat next to some guys, and we were in Miami at the time, so obviously it was a very spirited crowd. When he went up for that dunk on Alonzo, he literally went up.
Wow. Spirited in fourth quarter.
No, they were spirited throughout. Honestly, it was cool.
Every time I've been in Miami, first quarter, the whistle goes and they all walk out.
Well, what I loved was, we've said it before about the game, but they were giving us a little bit of lip, but in a nice way. And then if you see in that dunk there, I've got this playing over and over and over, and people can still see it as we're talking. But the way he pulls it back as though he's going to go for a dunk, and then he just went, oh, actually, I could hammer that. And he just pulls it back, and you think, who has enough time in the air to go up for a dunk and go, oh, actually, I'm going to like put it right back. And it literally, look, bang, pulls it back. And he just hung in the air, and everyone in the crowd, this guy who was Hispanic turns to me, and he was like, man, your boy got us. He's like, he got us good. And he was giving me a high five and stuff. And I loved it because you go, he was clearly, I mean, they all had Miami kits on and stuff, had Dwayne Wade and everything on there. Everyone was there for Miami, and they're like, yeah, you got to respect that. That was was filth. Absolute filth. No question.
You got to talk about his dunk in the Olympics as well. That guy was what, 7'2"? Was he?
Yeah, it's like possibly one of the best dunks ever. Surely.
I think you got to look at the slam dunk competition ones as well. Some of the ones he did there, I mean, they were just memorable, weren't they? He was the first person to dunk through his legs.
The Vince Scott.
Was he the first person to do a dunk competition through his legs? I'm sure he was.
Yeah, he was, yeah. Although, I mean, Isaiah Ryder did something similar one year, believe it or not. But we won't go there. Here we go.
I like the reaction of KD afterwards. It's like,
yeah. And this angle that he does of him, boom. And you know what? That guy who he dunked on is famously really salty about this. He really is not happy that this like, look at that. Yeah. So there's a great clip from the States when they're doing the commentary, and everyone's heard it because the guy said he goes right over top of him, and it just, like you said, Garnett is just absolutely stoked for him. So he's got into the hoop hall, which is awesome.
One of the things that I really liked, really nice bit of class, I think, from the NBA was when he had his jacket and he opens his jacket up, he's got all the different logos of all the different teams that he played on during his career. That looked really nice as well.
Nick Nurse did that.
Oh.
He did that.
Oh, okay.
He did that for, when did he do that? I think he did that the year the Raptors won. I think he did that the year he did the Raptors one. He had that stitch on the inside. It's a nice little touch, isn't it? So in the hoop hall, not only did we have obviously him, we had Chauncey Billups, who people may or may not know. Certainly you should know from Chicago in 2004, winning a championship ring. But what I loved was that when he gave his speech.
Sorry, Chicago?
No, Detroit Pistons.
Detroit Pistons, yeah.
Sorry, my bad. He was up there with Ben Wallace. And I was like, that's big Ben Wallace. Like,
yeah,
Ben Wallace
he was
has got big, long, grey, pointy beard and his like grey throat. And I was like,
Malice in Palace.
Yeah. But I'm looking at it like, that's Big Ben. Wow. Like, he looks different. It's like, you know, when you see Bautista and like now he's lost a load of weight and slimmed up, and I won't say looks like a normal guy, they're still big guys, but it's like, oh yeah, okay. So obviously Chauncey was MVP in that NBA finals that Detroit won. He was the MVP. But I love the fact the first thing he said, appreciate you took a chance on me when no one else did in the league, which I thought was really, really nice. And that was to one of the all famous Joe Dumas.
Oh.
Because he said to Joe, big Joe T, he's like, thank you for, Joe D rather, no, thank you for believing in me at that point in his career when he's like other people weren't sure and they were passing on me, and you go, then he became the MVP.
It's
and
interesting
ran the
how
team.
that torch.
I love that. Yeah, I loved that. I thought that was really, really nice. And obviously Vince Carter had like Tracy McGrady put him in, so you go, I mean, yeah, why would you not? And one, I mean, you've got Charles Smith, Bo Ryan, and Walter Davis, who are all great people. One of them was main coach for the, I want to say it was one of the colleges. Two of them were college players. But Michael Cooper.
Legend.
Yeah.
Showtime.
Yeah. 5 rings from Showtime. And people are like, oh, Michael Cooper. And you go, yeah, Magic Johnson
Defensive Player of the Year, wasn't
he? Yeah.
A few times, wasn't he?
Yep.
I know he was definitely.
Yes, he was. It was there. I put it up there just so I remembered.
Okay.
Along with Kareem and Magic, was a member of the
80, 82, 85. So if you haven't listened to it, you're a disgrace.
You are a
listen
disgrace.
to our Showtime Laker episode.
Yeah.
Where we talk all about the Showtime Lakers and.
But that's so cool.
Michael Cooper.
But, and in the same breath, there were people who went in there, one of which I said to you before, Jerry West.
Legend.
And it was, and he went back in there, and it's to do with contribution. I think it's like he went in based on the contribution to basketball, goes in something to do with that. But obviously, Jerry's no longer with us. So that's pretty cool as well. But, I mean, how awesome is that? And of course, you've got like the pictures there of the people like Jordan's there. And everyone's, all the big names go to these sort of things. You're like,
Top people in the world.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
You're standing with the King of Kings. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was, that was the big NBA news really that came out this year.
I've got even bigger news, Mark. Bigger news. It's going to affect every single player in the NBA. New rule just coming in by the NBA. Players are now banned from using their mobile phones during games. Who is using their mobile phone during a game?
Mr. LBJ.
Really?
Yeah, there's loads of people.
Oh, is that what it's about?
No, there's loads of people they do it all the time. They'll be there like posting like clips and stuff when they're on their thing. So they're like, no.
But look,
before and after. Before and then once the like media stuff is done after.
Yeah, but that's why you got like, just get someone else to do it if it's for media and all that as a player and all that jazz. And also, if it's an emergency, like, give it to one of the coaches and just say, look, if a phone call comes in, let me know.
Yeah.
I just think that's really weird. I can't make a phone call during a game. It's like, what? And you know what? Do you know what really made me laugh with a certain post? I love reading through the comments. And people were just saying very similar things to what I'm saying now. Who's making phone calls? Who's doing? Why aren't they playing the game and stuff like that? And then one person comes in and went, LeBron's better than Jordan. It's like,
oh, God.
All right.
Oh, they come out of everywhere, don't they?
Yeah.
They come out of everywhere.
LeBron is the GOAT. No, that's what it said. LeBron is the GOAT.
Oh, there's the GOAT. She's got to be the GOAT. No one cares.
Right.
No one cares. Yeah, so ends another edition, I think it's fair to say. Thank you so much for listening and joining us. Next week, we'll come back with another edition of the Talking Basketball podcast. But until then, if you want to talk to us, get on the socials, get on Instagram or ukbasketball@gmail.com. I have been Mark.
I have been Paul. Hello. And goodbye.
And goodbye.
And good night.